Welcome back to Talking Fitchburg. Joining me this morning is Lieutenant Chad Brecklin from the Fitchburg Police Department. Finally talked him into coming up here. No, just kidding. We're good buds. We've known each other, and we're glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you for the invitation, Jeremy. I'm glad to make my inaugural visit, and we'll have to make this a regular occurrence.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this goes first, and then we'll decide after that.
Good point. Maybe I won't earn a repeat appearance.
Just kidding. We haven't kicked anybody off the show. Maybe Preston. We're still looking, open spot for him. But other than that, yeah.
Well, hopefully I don't join him in those ranks.
Right. So what we're going to talk about today is what's going on at the police department. So we kind of use Jay Wilson as our safety tip guy. But we have you guys come back on us, kind of give us an update of what's going on out there. And we're going to start off with, you guys do some community service with serving lunches at Senior Center and at Stoner Prairie. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do a variety of community outreach efforts where we can try to engage with community members in different ways. And a couple of the things that we've been doing for about 2 years or so now is serving lunch over at the Senior Center and serving lunch over at Stoner Prairie Elementary School. We visit both of them about every 2 to 3 months, and it's a good opportunity for us to interact with our senior citizens as well as our some of our kids. And it's been a real good experience, very positive. We've gotten good feedback from doing it, and we continue doing so.
I think it's important that and I know that the police department strives for this, but getting out of the squad and going in, whether it's serving lunch, whether it's just stopping and walking down the street, whatever the case may be, I think that's awesome that you guys will, get out and do these things.
Yeah, it's way too easy to just sit in the squad car, or in my case, spend a lot of time in the police department doing, my related tasks and things. But it's really good for us to be getting out of our cars, interacting with the community, let them see us in a different way. Gives us a chance to talk and maybe get to know one another a little bit better. Learn some things. Gives us an opportunity, particularly when we're over at the Senior Center, to learn what might be going on in the community and what might be affecting someone in their neighborhood. So we get a chance to answer questions and those sorts of things.
So speaking of neighborhoods, so now we can kind of switch gears to more of some crime stuff that's been happening. In the Jamestown, you had mentioned that there's been some burglaries happening recently. Fill us in a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've had a series of burglaries taking place over in the Jamestown neighborhood since mid-November, and we've had 7 in total. And in most of those burglaries, they're happening during the early morning hours, say between 3 and 5 a.m. And what's most concerning about those burglaries is somebody's entering through an unlocked window or patio door, usually cutting a screen, then entering the residence, taking property. But obviously at that time of the morning, more often than not, we expect that those residences are going to be occupied. And, that just raises a level of awareness for us and concern, for the potential for additional unintended crimes to occur. So it's something that we're focusing on. We've put out some investigative leads to other agencies in hopes that we are able to identify a person or persons that may be responsible for these burglaries. We have our staff doing some extra patrol, particularly during the overnight hours and so forth. And, we're really hoping that if the community sees anything suspicious, that they give us a call, either using 911 or the non-emergency number of 270-4300. And we also would encourage people to ensure that they're locking their doors and windows to help prevent burglary and other crimes from happening.
Do you think that these persons or person are like kind of pre-watching the neighborhoods and stuff? Like, is that something that goes into this? So when you're saying looking for that suspicious activity, you see a car driving down the street, you see something that's not normal, those are kind of the things you guys want reports on.
Yeah, anything that appears out of the ordinary, people shouldn't be concerned about giving us a call. That's what we're here for. One of the advantages of our department being a little bit smaller is we are fortunate enough to have our own dispatch center. So you can call and you can talk to a Fitchburg employee, our Fitchburg Police Dispatcher, and relay what you are seeing, and they'll dispatch an officer over right away, assuming we're not on anything else. And we can come and at least take a look at it and determine if there's anything suspicious about it at all.
That's awesome. And you guys have always been proactive that way, which is awesome.
We have. And before we move on from the burglary topic, I do want to also, we've had something else that has come to mind that I wouldn't mind mentioning.
Yeah.
You know, we had some thefts from autos, thefts and burglaries in the Seminole Hills and Tower Hill neighborhood over the last month or so as well. And I do want to commend some work on our night shift. Officer John Parker and the rest of the night shift members working last week had actually located a suspicious vehicle that was occupied. There was some folks that we had been looking for that may have been responsible for these thefts and burglaries. And lo and behold, Officer Parker and the rest of the night shift was able to locate 2 of 3 brothers who we believed had been potentially responsible. And later, within the next 24 hours, the 3rd brother was also taken into custody. And there's some charges pending for those 3 folks, and another example of our proactive work that we try to do in keeping our community safe.
That's awesome. Good to hear the update on that. Last but not least, we have 2 retirements and kind of different spectrums too of the police department. So let's start with Jay Wilson, who also has a piece of our heart here at FACTv because he's worked closely with us. But talk a little bit about Jay.
Yeah, Jay could very well be the best known Fitchburg officer that we have because of all of his involvement, not only with FACTv, but Jay is another. We've talked earlier in the segment here about getting out of your car and getting to know people. And Jay's one of those quintessential neighborhood cops. We don't have neighborhood cops per se, but Jay's always been a firm believer in getting to know people, treating them fair with respect, and he's just a very personable, likable guy. And he is retiring at the end of the year after more than 30 years serving the Fitchburg community. So he's going to be missed. We're going to have some big shoes to fill. He did a lot on our crime prevention side. Obviously, he did the Eye on Crime show on a regular basis, and a myriad of other things. Arson investigation. He used to do, or may still do, the car tune-up clinic at the senior center, and crime day picnic, and the list goes on and on.
Right.
Jay's really been a big contributor over the years. So, yeah, we wish him well in retirement. We suspect there's going to be plenty of fishing in his retirement.
We're
he's
still
definitely earned it.
We're negotiating a contract with him now to see if we can't do that fishing show with him. So keep him active, in that way. So
exactly.
Real quick then too, our 4-legged friend Chase, K9 unit, is also retiring.
Yes, Chase, our 4-legged K9, is retiring January 15th after about 8 years of service to the city. So I think dog years are 7 human years, right? So roughly 56 years of service to the city, at least in dog years. Chase also is going to visit the senior center today while we serve lunch, kind of as his farewell tour over at the senior center. And we're going to have a little reception for both Jay and Cesar. Chase. Cesar Lopez is the handler of Chase, and we're going to have a ceremony for Chase and Jay coming up to honor their service to the city.
Yeah, and we're doing 2 stories with them as well. So here on this show, so we'll have Jay Wilson on in a couple of weeks, and today we're going to be interviewing Chase. Our first, I've been here 5 years, and it's the first time I'm actually meeting the dog for the first time. Yeah. So very excited for that.
We'll have to do better with the next case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get you in with the first 5 days, hopefully.
Right. All right, Chad, thank you so much for coming up and giving us the update on the police department. We'll see you or someone next month, right?
You bet. Thank you very much.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have PB&J next.